Hello and welcome to today's video. So I thought I would take you along with me while I go to see the movie Barbie. I watched one trailer, so I'm not really sure what this movie's about besides Barbie in the world of Barbie. I am seeing it with a best friend of mine, so I thought I'd take you along and then let you know what I thought about it. I'm wearing like a Barbie kind of themed outfit today, or at least what I think Barbie might wear and what I had in my closet. But we're going, oh my God, there's beautiful birds in my garden. I have to videotape them. Sorry about that. They're stunning. If anyone knows what they're called, please tell me. I'm not familiar with that kind of, I'm guessing it's a parrot, but they're super cute. Okay, so yeah, so I thought I'd take you with me. So I will touch base with you when we've come back from the movie. Okay, so I am back from seeing Barbie, and I think my opinion might be an unpopular one, judging by how everybody else feels. But I'm going to start with the positives. So visually, this movie is a feast for the eyes. It is absolutely stunning. The set design is phenomenal. Honestly, I was blown away. It's so immersive. It is fantastical and dreamlike and everything you would expect from Barbie Land. So set design, costume design, flawless, stunning, gorgeous. The cinematography was great. The soundtrack was great. The casting was on point. Everyone was fantastic in this, especially Ryan Gosling as Ken. I'm going to say he kind of like stood out the most, but otherwise really great, fantastic. There was a lot of humor in this. I did laugh out loud quite a few times, and those were my favorite things about this movie. Now, the movie itself, I guess you would consider it to be feminist. However, I wasn't really, comfortable with the way that they portrayed it. In this world, you have Barbie Land, and in Barbie Land, the Barbies rule. So to me, it kind of felt like they were representing sort of men in our world, the patriarchy in our world, and that in Barbie Land, the Barbies have all the opportunities, all the positions of power, all of the respect, and the Kens, they say, literally just exist to get Barbie's attention. They're basically an accessory, and Barbie says at one point, the Kens are superfluous. So the Kens don't have dream homes. The Barbies don't even know where they go. And every night is girls' night, so at the end of the day, the Kens have to leave to go. No one knows where because the Barbies don't care. So you can see with Ken, he's feeling really frustrated. He sort of doesn't know, he's not really, doesn't really have a purpose, and he's kind of unhappy. One day, Barbie starts feeling emotions, and she's told that she's created a rip in the reality to the real world. And they go to Weird Barbie. I'm like, is Weird Barbie meant to be gay Barbie? Because also they are portrayed by an openly gay actress. But in this world, okay, in this movie, there is no queerness. So there is no queer rep in this movie. Even though I was feeling mad vibes between Ryan Gosling's Ken and his rival Ken, but no queerness. There is kind of like ethnic diversity and ability diversity and gender diversity, but like just like token Barbies. So the majority of Barbies are the typical stock standard looking, thin Barbies. And most of the Kens have like insane six packs as well. Like Gosling, it was just, oh my God. Besides Alan is portrayed by Michael Cera, and he's, meant to be sort of a bit of the odd one out. But everyone is named Barbie, everyone is named Ken. And they sort of just do the same thing every day. Anyway, so she goes to Weird Barbie, who tells her that she's got to go to the real world and find the kid that's been playing with her to restore balance. So she goes, because what's happening is Barbie's getting flat feet, and oh my God, the worst thing ever, Barbie got cellulite. So she's like, I gotta go because I don't want cellulite. So off she goes, and Ken stows along with her, and they go to the real world. And in the real world, immediately Barbie starts getting catcalled. She starts getting harassed by men. So she starts feeling like, for the first time in her life, unsafe, that there's a threat of violence in the air. So basically every woman's experience in our world. Ken, on the other hand, is seeing the patriarchy. He's seeing in this world, men have rights. men have power. Men can do whatever they want. Men are important. So his mind is blown. He's in this world, men are not just an accessory meant to serve Barbie. So he starts learning as much as he can about the patriarchy. Unfortunately, he realizes that in this world, he'd have to have pesky things like PhDs to get a job. So he decides instead he's going to take back all of these concepts of pretty much, men's rights and men's equality and blah, 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 back to Barbie land. Barbie, on the other hand, is just devastated, doesn't like this world, doesn't like how women are treated. The opinions of little girls about Barbies is shocking to her, and she is just sort of broken by it all. I won't talk too much about the plot because I don't want to spoil everything, but Barbie goes back to Dreamland as well. When she goes back to Barbie Land, it's now called Kenland, and the Kens are ruling. And they've made the Kens pretty much represent their version of patriarchy is one of like chauvinistic, misogynist men. So they've objectified the Barbies. They're all wearing like skimpy French maid outfits, giving the men foot massages while the Kens mansplain the Godfather to them. So they're showing sort of all of the toxic masculinity. And then Barbie's like, well, this isn't right. And she sets about trying to unbrainwash the women so they can take back the power. Okay, so the feeling that I got from this was that, like I said, in Barbie Land, the Barbies, are the matriarchy, but they sort of represent the patriarchy, and the Kens are the women. And then in the real world, it's the way it is in our real world. So because of that, I was sympathizing with the Kens and the way that the Barbies were treating them. I was hoping that obviously because Margot Robbie's Barbie went to the real world, and she's gone back, perhaps she would convince the Barbies to instill equality with the Kens, because once the Barbies took their power back, the Kens were saying, like, that one Ken asked, could we have one Ken on the Supreme Court Justice? And the Barbie laughed at him and was like, no, maybe one day you can have the same rights as women in the real world, which we know is not amazing. So I'm like, really? That's the message you want to put out? That's how you want to portray the Barbies? The Barbies felt like dictators. I'm like, could not the Barbies have been like, you know what, Ken's, yeah, let's share some power. Let's create some equality. Let's allow you also to have Ken dream houses. Well, I think that he called them like Mojo Dojo Casa somethings. Do you know what I mean? Like, allow you to have some purpose, allow you to have some positions of power, because in Barbie Land, there is no disparity between physical strength. So the Barbies are just as strong as the Kens. So there's no like threat with that. And there's no threat of sexual assault because all of the Barbies don't have genitals. So in Barbie Land, there is potential for absolute equality between the Barbies and Kens. But the Barbies are like, no, you can get some scraps. And I didn't sit well with that. And also too, that they ridiculed the Kens so much. Ken came back with a faux mink coat because he saw Sylvester Stallone in the real world wearing one. And the Barbies ridiculed him for it and made fun of his coat. And I'm just like, don't make fun of anybody's creative choices with how they choose to express themselves through clothes. Like, I don't want to see the Barbies acting that way. So it really, my personal opinion was, it just made me not like the Barbies. And I don't think that was the intention of the movie, but that's what I came away with it. I was hoping, like I said, the Barbies would lead by example, be like, okay, this doesn't have to be a Barbieocracy. This can be a democracy. This could be, everyone has equal rights. Everyone has a say. Everyone has a voice, but the Kens are kept down. Basically, they do to the Kens the song that the Kens sing at the Barbies when they're ruling, which is, I want to push you around. Like, they push the Kens around and they keep them down. And so I was really disappointed that that's how they chose to end it. More than that, the last scene, people have said it has like Matrix vibes of the Oracle giving Barbie a choice. Do you want to remain a Barbie in Barbie Land, or do you want to be part of the real world? And she chooses to become a human. Now, I thought they were going to end in a scene with her. So the scene ends and she's walking in someplace. And I was getting the feeling like maybe she's applying for a job, or she's going to volunteer at a charity, something like that. Because they ask her name. And I thought, great, she's going to choose her name. She's going to have the agency to decide who she is and what her identity is. She chooses the name Barbara because Barbie is Barbara. And I'm like, well, that was a letdown. that she didn't just choose her own name, completely decide to create her own identity separate from the Barbies. No, she chose the same name. So I was like, oh, okay. And then it turns out, where is she at? She's at a gynecologist's office. And to me, look, I'm a cis woman. I don't know how everyone else felt about it, but to me, I got the message from that, oh, because she has a vagina, she really is a real woman now. And I'm like, out of everything you could have chosen to say about her being a real woman now, why did it have to be that, oh, she has a vagina now? So, yay. Yeah, I don't, like I said, maybe other people thought that was just funny, but for me, it didn't sit well with me that that's how they're ending it. Her being happy because she has a real vagina and she's a real woman. So that was a bit ick. Like I said, I don't know. This is just the way that I've interpreted the film. It could not be the intended message, but these were just how I viewed it. My girlfriend felt the same way, where she also felt like she was sympathizing with the Kens, because the Kens, like I said, seemed to be like women in the real world, and then the Kens still didn't get anything. And I understand they're trying to say, well, in the real world, women still haven't really gotten equality, so, you know, it's not that easy. But I'm like, but couldn't you have shown, like I said, the Barbies being better than the patriarchy? Like, the Barbies setting an example, like I said, setting an example and saying like, hey, Kens, we see now that you've been really disempowered this whole time, and we don't think that's right, and we're going to help you together, and we're going to unite and, you know, help each other. I thought that would have been a message to end on, instead of just like, well, you know, women still, you know, aren't equal with men in the real world, so we're going to treat you the same. I don't know. That was just my personal opinion. And yeah, so the movie had a bit of a sour taste to me personally because of it. I'm guessing too, though, that Mattel had a very large say in the movie itself and what could be said and the messages that could be said and how things could be portrayed. There's also this scene where they're saying like, can't we just have an ordinary Barbie, a Barbie to represent the ordinary woman? Maybe she's a mom, maybe she's not, maybe she's a president, maybe she's not. But I'm like, what's an ordinary woman? Tell me, like, what would that Barbie look like to represent the ordinary woman? I don't know. So there were a few like lines in there, something about two mothers stand still so the children can see how far they've come, like put their lives on hold. I don't know. There was a lot of things that I didn't like. America Ferrera's like feminist speech, I feel like could have been written so much better to be so much more powerful, so much more poignant. It didn't really hit for me. Like, it was falling short. I've heard so much better feminist speeches at feminist rallies and things like that. So, yeah, it was not the feminist movie that I was hoping to see. Like I said, it just didn't... I thought it could have been done better. But like I said, visually phenomenal. Like, honestly, a feast for the eyes. And the acting was superb. And I liked a lot about it. But it's just the political and feminist messaging, the way it was portrayed, I found not to be the best. Like I said, I don't know if someone maybe could say like maybe what they think that the movie was trying to do, but this was just how I felt it came across. So yeah, so that was a Barbie movie. If I was going to rate it, I probably would give it a 3 out of 5. Like I said, I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. It was fine. It was a nice time. There's just some things I'm like, what are you trying to say? Is that the best way to go about showing that, you know? Like I said, the Barbies were judgmental too of Weird Barbie. They just completely ostracized her because she'd gotten a haircut and hand-drawn makeup by her child. So they're like, well, she's weird. So we're going to just let her be by herself and call her weird to her face and behind her back. So the Barbies, like I said, I was hoping they would show the Barbies have some growth at the end of the movie and act differently and not be so set on only Barbies are the best and Ken's superfluous, you know, and Ken's are silly Kens with their silly little hopes and dreams and wishes and desires. You can't have one person on the board of the Supreme Court Justice. Ken, ha ha ha. No, didn't like it. So I also wanted to add that I also feel like perhaps they could have made a movie about dolls without doing it about Barbie and Ken and therefore having to involve Mattel. Perhaps a really powerful movie could have been made using the dolls to convey their message and not have the restrictions placed upon them. Perhaps it might have been a very different story if the creators were just using dolls and not the trademarked Barbie dolls to make a film. That's how I felt about the movie, but the experience was wonderful. So, went to the movies and so many women were dressed in pink. I just find it fun when people like kind of dress up. Like, it's why Halloween's one of my favorite holidays, because I just love seeing people express themselves and have fun and play. Seeing everybody dressed in their Barbie outfits was adorbs. I love that. There was a gentleman too who was dressed in like the faux mink coat that Ken wore. But then that made me feel bad too, because they made fun of that and mocked that coat. And I'm like, that coat's bomb as fuck. He looks phenomenal. I'm like, it's gorge. But like I said, I don't like it when anybody negatively criticizes someone's fashion choice. I don't like it at all. So the experience was lovely. And right after that was Oppenheimer, and people were dressed in 1940s get up. And I was just, I'm like, this is mad. This is awesome. Wouldn't it be great? We all dressed up when we went to the movies. The last time I did that was, I think, for Harry Potter. I dressed up for the last Harry Potter in a Harry Potter outfit, Ravenclaw. Barbie was an enjoyable experience, but yeah, I've been reading reviews, and I guess I haven't read any that sort of mirror how I interpreted what they did with the Barbies versus the Kens. So maybe I am wrong, but I don't know. But my girlfriend felt the same way, especially with the last final gynecologist scene. We're like, are they saying what I think they're saying? Like, okay. So yeah, so that was just my opinion. But otherwise, yeah. Go see it for yourself, make your own interpretations. Like I said, my opinion is just my own opinion, my own personal experience and interpretations. Everybody's opinion is subjective, and maybe, like I said, a lot of other people have just raved about it and enjoyed it and loved every bit of it and just thought it was funny, like they laughed at the last scene. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I was about to finish up and I just thought I'd mention, so my daughters did want to go see the Barbie movie because it's Barbie. But I've decided to not let them. I don't think it's a film for kids. There are a ton of sexual innuendos in the movie, and it's just, I feel like it's an adult movie. Yes, it's based on a child product, but I just don't feel like children will get much from it. So I just told them, yeah, no, I don't think it's for you. We can watch another movie. And in terms of Barbies too, I thought I'd also add that I did play with Barbies as a child. I love them. My favorite Barbies were Beauty and the Beast and Jasmine, because I felt like they looked the most like me. I also had Beast. He had long hair, and I had a black Ken doll. And with the Beast and my Ken doll, I drew makeup on them, and I did dress them in some of the Barbies' clothing. I, as a child, liked to feminize my men, and I played with Barbies until I was 14, but when I was 14, I would use my Barbies to reenact episodes of the X-Files and Buffy, because that's what I was into. So the way I played with them changed, but I did play with them for a long time and I did enjoy them. So I just thought I'd add that in there. And if you played with Barbies when you were a child, did you have a favorite Barbie, and what was it? And in the movie, they showed the discontinued Barbies, and they made a lot of fun of the pregnant Barbie, that like she was just really weird and not successful. I had the pregnant Barbie, and I loved rolling her belly open and taking the baby out and having her mother the baby. I don't know, I guess I'm one of the odd ones that actually liked that doll, because they were alluding to the fact that no one liked the pregnancy Barbie and it was a failure. But I did have her, and I did love her and her little baby in her belly. But I thought I would just add that on at the end. But yeah, I'd love to hear what everyone else thought of the movie, or like I said, what your favorite Barbies were. Comment down below. And I hope that wherever you are having a bedazzling morning, afternoon, or evening. And as always, stay wild, star child.